This news program is proudly brought to you by
Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits
and Now Biscuits.
Attorney General Pilaniningi commends lawyers. Goods and services expecting a decrease in domestic prices. And day 2 of UPNG graduation. A very good evening. This is Tuesday's news. I'm Grace Papiali. Thank you for joining us. Attorney General Pilaniningi has commended lawyer Levent Joyce of Mel and Henry Lawyers for representing the state well in court yesterday afternoon. The Supreme Court matter was on the application filed by Peter O'Neill, member for Yalibu Pangia. A 5-man bench of the Supreme Court presided over the matter yesterday. Mel and Henry Lawyers Counsel Joyce represented Attorney General as the intervener and presented 2 submissions in objection to the application filed by Peter O'Neill, member for Yalibu Pangia. The application filed by Peter O'Neill on the 8th of August 2022 questioned the legality of the 11th Parliament sitting. The 3 grounds on the submissions by Attorney General were on the Constitution, Section 18(1) jurisdiction, whether it has been properly invoked, then the application is incompetent, and the others being no questions raised and no facts pleaded. Attorney General Pilaniningi was pleased with his lawyer.
My lawyers have raised a very strong point of law. I believe that the judges have heard it and they received the judgment. So it should go. I don't want to preempt, but I'm satisfied with what my lawyers did.
He further said that the Supreme Court's reserved judgment will determine the applicant's standing and theirs as well.
I believe that we have a very serious not complying with the laws. So our lawyers have raised this and allow the court to, Supreme Court will decide, and shortly we will know.
Over the last 2 years, Papua New Guinea has experienced increased challenges in relation to the prices of goods and services. Independent Consumer and Competition Commission Chief Executive Officer Paulus Ain says in the next 6 to 12 months, we should expect to see decreases in domestic prices.
Inflation is doing to the economy.
Commissioner Paulus Ain says people need to understand how inflation has come about and the effects this has on price controls.
We always tend to understand that when we talk about inflation, people tend to conclude that it is a pricing thing that we at ICCC is able to manage and control on a daily basis, which is a misconception. And it is also a misunderstanding. So the distinction now is price control is to control the price of a good or service. Why the price of goods are going up because of certain factors, and ICCC need to go into control.
ICCC will continue monitoring prices, and whilst that happens, citizens are reminded that price control is not an issue. Rather, it is import inflation in which our country relies too much on imports.
So once when everybody out there, we are talking about COVID-19, war in Ukraine and Russia, and more line blong walk na planim garden na kai long apia on feed me playa. So what our people now they are telling us is, you carry me come na giving me a long league price. That's commercial suicide for the business houses.
Commissioner Ain explains ICCC's discussions with the government and how they can reach remote parts of PNG.
It's something that we are trying to help our people out there. So with this new order and the funding that we are expecting from the government, and then you are fully aware, we've been sending staff and team out into the districts and provinces. They will be there on the ground now to making sure that they are not overcharging on the basis of our finding that we are now telling everyone.
Consumers are strongly encouraged to move away from relying on imported goods and to depend on local produce. While the government can look at its overall policy to reduce import reliance. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
The Media Council of PNG held reform discussions today with editors and senior journalists today in Lae, Morobe Province. Discussions were centered around restoring proper process and beginning to identify important matters MCPNG can work towards.
Following the National Community Coalition Against Corruption workshop yesterday, the Media Council of PNG, with the assistance of ABC's Media Development Initiative, held a roundtable discussion with editors and senior reporters on reigniting the PNG Media Council and the work that currently needs to be done. Jeff Harriet, a former ABC journalist, joined the group via Zoom as advisor and mentor. MCPNG President Neville Choi opened the meet and spoke the need to re-establish the PNG Media Council.
Now, the issue of training is a touchy one because we have to think about affordability, which is one of the main causes of journalists deciding not to take up training to further their skills. And the other one is, of course, time away from family. So there's different suggestions. One of them is either working with either a donor partner who's willing to provide some form of funding.
During discussions, issues such as training and membership were discussed.
At the end of the day, it's us with a consensus who decided who would sit there rather than just being forced to get someone from government. I know it's important that we get the view of government because they're the ones that we mostly hold to account for everything. There's a tendency for us to just go along with that and by automatically just selecting someone from the state. That has its merits, but I think we should follow an independent process.
The ultimate goal for this meet is to prepare newsrooms and journalists towards a proposed MCPNG annual general meeting where new board members will be sworn in. Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited has shown its support towards the upcoming Special Economic Zone Summit in May by presenting a check of 100,000 kina to the Ministry of International Trade and Investment yesterday in Port Moresby. Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited has come on board in showing its support towards the upcoming Special Economic Zone Summit in May. Managing Director for Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, Wapu Sonk, spoke about their commitment.
So supporting the SEZ is not a new thing. We have already started. So we are very happy that the minister is there and already starting. So it's just going to be a step, up from where we are, using our own initiative for supporting the oil and gas business. So I just wanted to make it clear that we are already going there. And we are building a training facility that will train for all the blue-collar jobs, highly skilled blue-collar jobs in oil and gas, in shipping business, in mining business, in general construction business, those sort of things in this training facility that we are building. So they will be side by side.
Ministry of International Trade and Investment is in charge of this largest summit expected to happen. Minister of International Trade and Investment, Richard Maru, acknowledged the support given.
So Kumul, you are integral. That's why I'm really happy that you are starting. You are our partner, and this year we hope you will deliver at least 2 or 3 plants that will supply green energy and cheaper energy to the grid. It will be a major commitment, and I really would like to encourage your board and management to really stay focused and stay committed, because this will change this country. This will create the jobs. This will bring the investors. So you are key, and thank you very much for providing 100,000 to us today to be a gold sponsor of our summit. We truly appreciate your help, and we look forward to the solutions that you must provide this year to really kickstart economic zones in a very big way.
Six applicants for the recent police recruitment drive for the NCD, Central and Gulf provinces were tested positive for illicit substances last week. 4 were tested positive in the regular recruit program, whilst 2 who tested positive were selected for police cadet officer program.
Of the 6 who tested positive for illicit drug substances, 4 tested positive for marijuana, while the other 2 tested positive for methamphetamine, commonly known as ice. Amongst them was a female. Deputy Commissioner Administration Joanne Clarkson said of the 213 who did their medical checks, 26 failed, including the 4 who tested positive for illicit drugs. Deputy Commissioner Clarkson clarified that 24 were disqualified on other medical grounds, including eye tests, neck nodes related to tuberculosis and pregnancy. A total of 185 applicants for the regular recruits now advance into the physical training stage of the recruitment process. For the cadet officer program, a total of 83 applicants were scheduled for medical checks last week. Deputy Commissioner Clarkson explained that stringent measures have been put in place for academic, physical and medical tests for the shortlisted applicants. Highlands Region will conduct its screening process from the 8th of May to the 16th of June. Momase Region will go into its screening process from the 8th of May to the 9th of June, with the NGI region to conduct theirs from the 8th of May to the 9th of June. For Milne Bay, Northern, South Fly and North Fly, they will conduct their screening process from the 8th of May right through to the 2nd of June 2023. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. A security officer, Fidelis Kamsnok of the UPNG University Security Force, graduated today with a Bachelor of Arts degree under the Professional Studies program, majoring in Information and Communication Studies.
Many who have graduated today may have their own stories and experiences that led up to this achievement today. For Fidelis Kamsnok, a security officer from the Uniforce, his achievement is a great inspiration to those that share the same background. He shared his journey from being a security officer to achieving the Bachelor of Arts degree in PNG's premier and prestigious university's 68th graduation ceremony.
I joined the university, the Uniforce, in 2010. I was employed with the security for roughly 9 years, and then the university has a policy of after 7 years, you're eligible to do further studies. I came from a background of IT, so I'm interested in the information computing studies. It relates with the IT. So I enrolled in 2020. Professional studies, university policy is only 3 years.
Fidelis Kamsnok.
Today was one of his proudest moments as he walked up to the stage embracing his job as a security. He was dressed in full Uniforce uniform with the gown. Proud Kamsnok encourages his colleague to never look down on themselves and grab the opportunity that comes their way.
Other people who are working as a security personnel in other organizations, security it didn't start today. Security starts from day one when God created the earth. When Adam and Eve created the fall, that's when security was developed through that man Adam. So it's a blessing job. When you partake in the security industry, or even working as a security in the field or within the office, this is your time to have the confidence. You look after properties, you look after the lives of people. The Lord will bless you because God created this institution. It's the first institution on this earth. Other institutions just came in, like the police, army, they just came in. Security is the first job created by God through the man Adam. Yeah, so if you partake in this job with your heart, the Lord will bless you because you are looking after other people and their lives and their properties.
Mr. Kamsnok acknowledges his sponsors who have supported him to achieving his degree. He enrolled at the University of Papua New Guinea in 2020 as a professional study student undertaking the Information and Communication Studies course, which he completed 19 courses in 3 years. Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Chancellor of the University of Papua New Guinea announced to the School of Humanities and Social Science graduating class of 2022 that the UPNG will teach Chinese language commencing next year. The Chancellor made this announcement following the Chinese ambassador's speech during the 68th graduation ceremony at the Sejong Gai Stadium in Port Moresby today.
Papua New Guinea is known for its diversity in languages and cultures. With over 800 languages spoken across the nation, the learning environment is strictly confined to English language. The Chancellor of UPNG, while addressing the graduate today, says that PNG is part of the global community and it is important that such institution that brings together students from various different cultural backgrounds must create an avenue for students to learn languages of other countries.
Most of us speak 4 to 5 languages. So it provides the basis on which, as he said, a modern country in a global community must be able to communicate, and like the ambassador himself, he was trained in the German language. And we obviously have adopted English as one of our languages, official languages, so we take it for comfort. But it is important that I challenge you as graduates, that tomorrow after you had your holiday today, that you commit yourself to learning one foreign language, whether it's French, German, Japanese, or Chinese. Which brings me to announce 2 things. The ambassador and I have agreed that the university will immediately mount, following approval of the Senate and the Council, through the School of Humanities and Social Sciences, the teaching of the Chinese language at UPNG.
Currently at the university, the Japanese, Bahasa Indonesia and French language is taught under the linguistic strand under the School of Humanities and Social Science. Meanwhile, the Vice-Chancellor also announced the Chinese government's commitment towards supporting the journalism and public relations strand.
That the ambassador has agreed to assist the university in the improvement and development of the studio that is at the School of Humanities and Social Sciences to assist in the School of Journalism and Media Communication.
Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Providing quality academic programs at the University of Papua New Guinea is the aim for all academic staff and the university's administration. Chancellor Robert Igara says work is in progress to improve this so as to allow conducive learning environment for students.
Speaking at the graduation ceremony today, the Chancellor assured parents, students and sponsors that all support that is required for students will be provided.
Including counseling, obviously better catering and organization for student experiences on campus. We are looking at lecture and teaching facilities, resource planning, governance and management.
He added that digitalized learning system is the way forward to ensure students are well taught.
The benefits of modern technology and digitalization will be or is the platform for all these areas. Yesterday I announced 2 other initiatives. One is that we will establish a university investment and endowment fund to ensure that we prepare ourselves against uncertainties of cash flows and plan for the future. And the former managing director of the Bank South Pacific, Mr. Robin Fleming, has agreed on a voluntary basis to lead a task force in establishing an investment and endowment fund.
The Chancellor further stated that improving academic and research programs will help the students to perform better during the course of their studies at the university. Jim John, National EMTV News.
For many, education is a way forward to creating a better life in today's world. Hence, all graduates from the School of Humanities and Social Science at the University of Papua New Guinea are encouraged to change the country. Graduates are reminded to contribute meaningfully to the country's development, as well as their districts, provinces, and the villages.
Education is a lifelong investment to achieving one's dream and goal for a better life. Graduates from the School of Humanities and Social Science have been urged to think critically on how they can contribute to the country's development and not just to earn their degrees and diplomas. UPNG's Chancellor Robert Igara has challenged the graduates to use their skills and knowledge acquired at the university to serve others. Some graduates were asked as to how they will contribute to the country's development, and these were their responses.
Whether it's in the district, in my own clan, or even just in the country as a whole, it's like as long as I contribute something meaningfully, like it doesn't matter the size of the community, whether how small or how big it is, as long as I am able to contribute something that builds the community.
My dream to take back what I get, take it back to the people, community, society I grew up and come from, and it is my honor.
Are you happy?
I'm more than happy.
There's a lot of things that we can do for our country, and let's say for me we have to start small. So I'll go back to my community and see how I can help them from there. Because graduating here in the School of Humanities and Social Science, I'm in the public service division, so I'll go back to serve my community. And
for graduate Hipson Ayopa, he says tribal fights have been the ongoing problem in his village in Hela province, and he is looking forward to working with community leaders to address such issues.
More than happy because the trouble arising is always in TBLLG, which is my village. So as a political science student, I feel that I am an agent to change and I have obligation for my village and tribe and province and country as well.
In total, 223 graduates have received their degree and diploma certificates from the School of Humanities and Social Science today. Jim John, National EMTV News.
Southern Highlands Provincial Health Authority CEO Dr. Joseph Birisi has appealed to the local MPs in the province to consider subsidizing costs for kidney dialysis services at Mandi General Hospital. Dr. Birisi made a call during the recent opening ceremony of the kidney dialysis center.
During the event at Momei Oval, the people of Southern Highlands were told that accessing kidney dialysis services was expensive, hence the need for steady financial support. Dr. Birisi appealed to the DDAs and provincial government to subsidize costs for their constituents who may require kidney dialysis.
That's where partners need to come. That's where DDA need to come in. That's where our provincial administration and government needs to come in. Now, you need supporting most of the Trango people from Ibla. So that all to the right of simple service. All to the right of simple service. Everyone block on money man that's all. And more Trango man to must simple service. So me put into the family come back forward long. Our good local MP, but take him up. How you can best manage him so that the service here in 1 week, 1 month, I may broke down again, I may stop. I must continue yet.
Meanwhile, Health Secretary Dr. Liko Osborn said Pacific International Hospital has been providing this service, but it was expensive for ordinary citizens. Hence, Port Moresby General Hospital was being planned to have a kidney dialysis center as soon as it becomes a national referral teaching hospital for medical faculty graduates.
But for many, some PHA board, that is my concern. So thank you, the partners here, from the DDAs, from our local members, and from all our corporate and business partners. Having it here is one thing. Just like a little tube where you put himself on, change his blood, pushing blood, and get you clean your blood. Now it's like special water. It costs a lot of money. And the CEO Dr. Pinisa, it won't come from the budget. Budget itself for Southern Island PHA is not with the envelope budget we get from government won't be enough.
Dr. Osborn also commended the Southern Highlands Provincial Health Authority CEO for the bold step in taking the responsibility to set up a kidney dialysis center at Mendy General Hospital with the support of partners like PNG Kidney Foundation and Kumul Petroleum Holdings. With Southern Highlands Province privileged to have development partners and investors in its natural resources, the onus is on them to lend helping hands where needed.
Please, Santos, Oil Sets, MRGC, all the business partners here, and the Kumul Petroleum, thank you. That's the beginning, and then you have to continue to support it until we have in government budget envelope to then support that with Mendy. And then with Kimbe, Rapal, and all other PHAs that will be able to take this dialysis to help our people.
Amanda Ilaitia, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.2840 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, Kina was buying $0.2765 $0.4101 Australian dollars, $0.2439 euro, 36.63 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee closed lower, cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading lower, copper closed lower. On the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, the All Ordinaries is trading lower. National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Now to news making headlines overseas. In the New South Wales city of Newcastle, tens of thousands of people turned out to one of the country's largest regional services.
A very moving service here in Newcastle this morning, with the crashing waves of Nobby's Beach serving as a reminder of what those quiet moments would have been like for our Anzacs in 1915, in the seconds before they arrived on the shores of Gallipoli. The service this morning here reflecting and remembering the collective sacrifice and efforts of service people from near and far who gave their time and some their life in different campaigns in our defence history. There was also a special moment in this service of people young and old from our community coming together, with a local school captain reading a prayer and holding a torch in the service.
We cherish too the poppy red that grows on fields where valour led. It seems to signal to the skies that blood of heroes never dies, but lends a lustre to the red of the flower that blooms above the dead in Flanders fields.
For the city of Newcastle and the wider Hunter Valley, a special reflection was given in this service to look back on the unique role that this area has played in many war efforts. Newcastle in World War II was known as the Newcastle Fortress, a network of Army, Navy and Air Force bases, forts, coastal guns, and of course the contribution of manufacturing that this region has made through many decades. Across the greater Hunter, dawn services, marches and community events are being held in other communities including Maitland, Muswellbrook, Cessnock and Nelson Bay to look back and reflect and remember local service people from near and far.
The Australian Chief of Army says they will need to adapt quickly to emerging technology following the release of a landmark report.
Following the release of a landmark defence report which drastically cuts armoured vehicles and mobile artillery, the review revealed the number of new infantry fighting vehicles is being slashed while land-based missile systems will be fast-tracked and expanded.
It will be a short, sharp review just to check that we've got the right structure of our surface fleet to complement the acquisition of nuclear-propelled submarines. Importantly, that's within the context of this government's commitment to continuous naval shipbuilding. We will build ships on a continuous basis in Adelaide and Perth to maintain a very skilled workforce and give the Royal Australian Navy the best possible equipment to protect Australia.
Another attempted ceasefire has been announced in Sudan amid warnings from the UN Secretary General of violence risks engulfing the whole region and beyond.
In the last couple of hours, the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has announced that a 72-hour truce between the warring factions of the Sudanese military will begin at midnight local time. Evacuations are continuing from the capital Khartoum, with Western, Arab and Asian countries working to remove their citizens to safety. At least 158 Australians and their family members are registered as being in Sudan right now.
There has been upheaval news that Rupert Murdoch's Fox News says it has agreed to part ways with Tucker Carlson, one of its popular and controversial presenters.
One of its most popular and controversial presenters. It comes days after the landmark $1.1 billion settlement in the Dominion Voting Systems lawsuit over the network's coverage of the 2020 presidential election. Meantime, rival CNN has sacked presenter Don Lemon after 17 years on screen. Lemon says he's stunned and was informed through his manager. In February, Lemon had to apologise after saying a presidential hopeful was past a prime.
National EMTV News continues after the break with Trukai Sports. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The National Rugby League competition is looking to play its round 3 matches this coming weekend in various parts of the country.
Following a double-header in Port Moresby to kickstart the National Rugby League season 2023, the 12 competing teams played in various parts of the country where Vipers and the EMK Civic Pride walked away victorious after their first match. Last weekend in round 2, despite walking away as champions in round 1, the NCDC Port Moresby Vipers got trashed after playing their second match in Kokopo against their opponent, the Rabaul Agmak Gurriers. As the Civic Prides look forward to making their presence known in the first quarter of the season, Vipers, Wigmen and the Eagles, together with the Miocs, are looking to play hard in the coming games. But for the 12 teams in the running, vying for the top 8 position will be a priority as they play towards the middle of the season. This weekend will witness round 3 of the National Rugby League competition. Godwin Eki, Trukai Sport.
PNG Boxing Union, after hosting their international guest from Australia who invigilated a 2-day workshop for the PNG Boxing Union, saw them do a 2-day theory lesson. This was followed by 3 days of practical where coaches and referees were taken through. Boxing Union President Dr. Gideon Candino said the work is to boost the PNG Boxing Union, particularly their trainers, coaches and referees in the country. President Dr. Candino says this is a good start for the PNG Boxing Union, especially with the 2023 Pacific Games around the corner towards the end of the year. And Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. In overseas sports now, the Manly Sea Eagles supporters will be breathing a huge sigh of relief after their star fullback got some positive news after going in for a scan.
Left the field in the 70th minute after suffering a groin injury at Campbelltown Sports Stadium in the Sea Eagles' win over West Tigers at the weekend. But in great news for the brilliant number one and the Sea Eagles, scans confirmed that it was only a minor adductor injury. So with that in mind, he will be named in Manly's 22-man squad to play the Gold Coast Titans on Saturday, and then will undergo a fitness test later on in the week to see if he finally gets up to play.
In rugby union, Star Wallabies winger Micah Korabit has clinched his second John Hills medal as Australia's best rugby player despite only playing a test in 2022.
The Japanese-based speedster became the sixth Wallaby to win the award on multiple occasions, having first won it back in 2019. The award is voted on by the players after each test match, and Korobete polled 202 votes to comfortably win the medal. The 30-year-old, who switched from NRL to rugby union in 2017, was the standout in Australia's losing test series against England before also impressing with his work rate through the Rugby Championship.
In AFL, Melbourne youngster Jacob Van Rooyen has kicked 3 final quarter goals to help lift the Demons to an 18-point win over Richmond at the MSG.
He kicked 2 majors in a 4-minute span early in the final term and then added the sealer around 10 minutes later in Melbourne's 15-6 96 to 11-12 78-point win at the MCG last night. Richmond, who were inspired by Noah Cumberland's third 3-goal first quarter, led by 25 points before half-time in front of just under 84,000 fans, but the Tigers coughed up 9 goals to 3 after the main break in a 4th straight defeat that leaves their season hanging on by a thread. It was the usual suspects who got it done in the middle of the ground for the Demons. Clayton Oliver, Jack Viney and Christian Petrarca all shone for the D's, who now sit second on the ladder.
And that ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
The weather forecast for the next 24 hours. In the southern region, Port Moresby City, partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Daru, cloudy with rain periods and thunderstorms. Kerema, Alatau, Popondetta, cloudy periods with some showers and thunderstorms. In Momasa region, Lay City, cloudy periods with few showers. Medang, cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Wewak, cloudy periods with some showers. Vanimo, cloudy periods with some showers and possible thunderstorms. In the New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, cloudy with rain showers and thunderstorms. Kavieng, Kokopo and Rabaul, mostly fine. Kimbe, partly cloudy with few showers and possible thunderstorms. Buka, brief showers easing, then partly cloudy. In the Highlands region, all centers cloudy with rain showers and possible thunderstorms.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's how we end the news bulletin for Tuesday, the 25th of April, 2023. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
This news program was proudly brought to you by Smart Start Breakfast Biscuits and Gold Nuggets.